What's going on, people? Welcome back to Nick J. Francis channel once again. Another big game day live. Arsenal take on Brighton. Two of four teams, only four teams so far that are unbeaten. I know we're only 2 games in, but only Arsenal, Brighton, Liverpool, and Manchester City are unbeaten so far in the league. So it's a big game. We're going to talk about the transfer window, which is just closed. In some ways, the winners of the transfer window versus the losers of the transfer window. So let's take a look at everything that's happening. Let's start off with the teams. We'll get into the teams at the moment. It looks like there's going to be one change from an Arsenal perspective. Anyway, there's only one change. That's Trossard starting. There's lots of talk about was Trossard going to start or was Martinelli going to start after Trossard went and got that goal. And really, not just the goal, man like Himanshu, what's going on, brother? Not just the goal that Trossard got, but just came on against in the last game against who did we play in the last game? It's totally slipped my mind. Aston Villa, and completely changed the game. So we'll get into the lineups. Let's talk about the teams, and then we'll talk about predictions and all that good stuff. That for Arsenal, like I say, same team as always with that one change. So David Raya in goal, Ben White, Saliba, Gabriel, Jurrien Timber getting another start, which is really, really positive to see. Erdegaard, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice in the midfield. Hopefully, Partey's fitness can hold out. That's going to be the big one. And then Kai Havertz, Saka, and Trossard up top. For Brighton, we've got Verbruggen in goal, Van Hecker and Dunk as centre-backs, Hinshelwood and Joel Veltman as full-backs. We've got Baleba and James Milner in the midfield with Matoma, Minter, João Pedro, and Danny Welbeck up top. So really, really good attacking teams. They've got a good bench. They've still got the likes of Tariq Lamptey on the bench. They've still got Enciso, who I think is super underrated, on the bench. They've got a Dingra on the bench. Estupinan on the bench. Really, really strong bench from them. For us, we've got Gabriel Martinelli, Jakub Kiwior, Alexander Zinchenko, Jorginho, Calafiori, Ethan Ranieri, and then a couple of the youngsters, Setford, Lewis Skelly. And obviously Raheem Sterling signed last night. That's the big breaking news. That's the big talking point. He's not going to be fit and available he's not going to be available for this game. He's not going to be registered and stuff like that in time. Just getting to the club last night. And Mikel Merino, who's the other transfer, is currently out injured. So, problems for Arsenal in a classic Arsenal fashion. But look, I do think that the transfer window overall was a positive. We lifted the standards of the squad, I think, really, really well. I just think one thing that we didn't do is, go out and get that big marquee striker. But the way Kai Havertz is playing, there's big question marks around, do we need that marquee striker or not? That's a really, really good, talking point. I'm not really sure if we need that big target striker or not. Do you know what I mean? Himanshu says, what do we think about the Bivol and Beterbiev card? We're doing everything that we can, Shane and I, to be out there. I think Shane is currently working on trying to get tickets and get out there. I think the card looks really, really good. Really exciting card. Lots of big names on there. I think a lot of pressure on Shakur Stevenson to go out to Saudi and put on a big, big performance against lots of other fighters that are either known for knockouts or known for being very entertaining fighters. So big pressure on Shakur. Let's see what he can do. Let's see if he can step up to the plate on that. But in terms of come back to Arsenal Brighton, Arsenal and Brighton, like I said, 2 teams, both unbeaten. Arsenal, 2 clean sheets, 1 at home and 1 away. So it should be good. It should be good. In terms of the squad today, the immediate worry is going to be the lack of a bench in terms of attacking options for us. Yes, we have Gabriel Martinelli on there, but apart from that, everyone's defensive or midfielders, really. We don't really have a big attacking presence on the bench at the moment. Obviously, Reece Nelson gone, Eddie Nketiah gone, and all these different players. Who else has gone? Smith Rowe. So we've upgraded the bench, and as a squad, we look stronger. But have we upgraded the starting 11? Not really at all. Himanshu will definitely be doing a watch along for AJ, 100%. Yeah, so we'll be doing all the football. We're doing a watch along tomorrow for Manchester United, Liverpool. We're doing watch alongs for all the big fights. If we're not on here, we'll be on DR Sports. The really big fights that DR Sports aren't doing for whatever reason. If they can't get people to cover the fight, we'll be covering it. So that's why we set up this channel between me and Shane, so that any content in football and boxing we can just keep bringing you guys 100%. really looking forward to that fight as well. I personally think AJ smokes him in like first half of the fight. I think AJ stops him, but yeah, I think Shane and I are discussing that as it gets closer and closer to the fight. In terms of Brighton have looked good. Brighton's last game, they obviously beat Manchester United. They beat them. It was at the death, to be fair. And again, Manchester United's. To be fair, the reason I don't take too much, or the reason I'm not too worried about that going into this game, is Manchester United have brought in a lot of new defenders. At the time, they just made some defensive changes, and that's when they got that goal late. So I'm not really, bringing that into this game, because our back four is actually very, very solid in terms of the relationships, the partnerships, and I think that would be really, really good. David Raya coming in and starting the whole season. I know he played most of last season, but him starting in that number one position and knowing that's his position. The same for Timber. It looks like pretty much that is his position, and that's going to stay his position for the rest of the season. So he'll have a bit of confidence and comfortability going into that, going into this season. So when I look at the Brighton game, the worry is, yes, they will go until the death. They got that goal late. That's really impressive, and they're going to keep the pressure going and a really, really attacking team. That being said, we've seen Ten Hag make arguable mistakes, I guess is a fair way to say it, coming from doing the making defensive substitutions and ultimately losing Manchester United games. We've seen him do it a couple of times. So this is what it is. And they're also not as fresh. Brighton played on Tuesday. Arsenal, of course, haven't played since they played the EFL Cup game. We've been drawn in the third round against Bolton, so rolling back the years, Arsenal, Bolton, some classic games of the past. Brighton played on Tuesday. We obviously haven't played. We've had a full week's recovery, so that goes in our favour. But listen, anything can happen. Brighton are a really, really talented team, and we're at home today. We're at home. We're at the Emirates. Well, hopefully, I think last season we actually did better on the road than we did at home. So this season is a big focus is going to be about bringing that home record, solidifying the home record, making home a real fortress as much as possible. And that's going to be really, really important. So I think today, Trossard's got a real point to prove. That's why I'm looking at positives. Havertz has been on a good run of form. Trossard has obviously got a point to prove as well. Leandro Trossard, of course, who, displaces Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli had not a great season last season. Has kind of continued that, looking a little bit sloppy and not very controlled so far this season. Leandro Trossard comes in. We know that he had a falling out with Brighton, albeit that was under De Zerbi. It's a new manager now, but he had a falling out with Brighton when he came to us under difficult circumstances for him. But he's a player that likes to have a point to prove, and will go out there and want to prove that point. So I'm confident in seeing Trossard put in a good performance today. And just be a little bit neater and tidier. He doesn't have the pace that Martinelli has. He's not as direct and aggressive as Martinelli, but he will give us a lot more control of the game. And actually, for a home game, hopefully that works well for us, because I think most Arsenal fans are in agreement that Trossard is much better coming off the bench than he is typically as a starter. I think the stats suggest that off the bench, he's a really, really good attacker. When he starts, not so much. But if he is going to start a game, I'd like to see him starting games at home, where we're going to be a little bit slower and control the game and control the ball a little bit more, rather than away when it could turn into a little bit of a basketball match, which is where probably Martinelli late on could do damage. But I do think we'll see Martinelli today. I'll be very surprised if Trossard gets a full 90, and potentially Martinelli comes on for Saka. If Saka can get himself a goal, an assist, have a decent game, he can get himself off and rested. It seems like Mikel Arteta again has learned from last season in terms of resting Bukayo Saka. And get not necessarily resting him, but getting him off early, and not necessarily getting him to play every 90 minutes. It's not necessary, especially if we're winning the game. Get Saka off, and I won't be surprised to see Martinelli come on in that right-hand side position. As we know, we've got Raheem Sterling, and where do we see Raheem Sterling play when he comes into the fold? Is he going to come on to replace to sit at the left, or is he going to come on the right-hand side? We'll see. Rick says in the chat, are we at risk of losing a winger, though? There's some competition now, which is great, but players want to play. I don't think we are. I don't think we are. Just seeing the players line up in the tunnel. And I'll tell you why I don't think that we're at risk of losing any wingers at this point. We've got Bukayo Saka. Very, very unlikely to leave. Loves Arsenal. We're in the ascendancy. There's not many better projects out there, other than maybe unless he's going to Real Madrid or somewhere like that. I just don't see it. Not for a long time to come. Then you've got Leandro Trossard, again, an older player, 29, 30 years old, our players, is he going to? He's got an opportunity to win silverware. He's not won a trophy his entire career. He's at a big club on big wages with big opportunity to win a trophy. You know, I don't see where he goes. He's probably not going to a bigger club and more exciting projects. He's not going to a Barca or someone or a Real Madrid. That's not going to happen. Does he drop down to mid-table and slash his wages in half to play a little bit more football? He's knocking on the door of Martinelli right now. I don't think, you know, we're just at the beginning of the season. We're not at any risk of losing him anytime soon. Martinelli, very similar position. We picked him up for £6 million. He's a player that if we did lose him, he's probably the one I'd be most comfortable losing, because I think we can probably turn the highest profit margin on it. Maybe not profit margin because Saka was free, but we can turn a profit on Martinelli, right? If he were to go in the summer, if he puts up 10, 15 GA this season, what can Martinelli go for in the summer? 35, 40, 50 million? That would be a huge profit. That won't be till the end of the season. He's only ever played at Arsenal. Again, is he going to drop down the football pyramid in order to get more regular football? Probably not. He's played in Brazil and then straight to Arsenal. If he leaves, it's probably going to be for Real Madrid, and he's not really putting in the kind of performances to get him to a Real Madrid right now. So, and then of course we've got Raheem Sterling as well, who's 29, and this is probably the last big move of his career. So I don't think that we're at risk of losing any of our wingers, to be honest with you. I really don't see that. You know, maybe Saka, but Saka, if we lost Saka, it'd have to be 100 million plus, right, to get someone like Saka out of the club. So, and he's someone that could be a future captain for Arsenal. So I don't think that we're at risk of losing any wingers just at the moment. Himanshu says, thanks for taking Sterling, Nick. Banter aside, he might be good for you. He was terrible for us. You know, I had a conversation with a couple of friends that support Man United, and they were getting a bit annoyed at me because I was laughing at them when it looked like Man United were getting Sterling, and I'm quite not happy, but I'm comfortable with Arsenal getting Sterling, and they were saying that's unfair. Why do I have different standards for Martinelli coming to Arsenal versus going to Manchester United? And the reason is, I think that if you look at Sancho's character and the character that Ten Hag fell out with, Sterling's more professional than Sancho from what we've seen in the media. I don't know either of these guys personally, but I think that Ten Hag had a good chance of falling out with Raheem Sterling, much in the same way that he's fallen out with Rashford, he's fallen out with Sancho. There's a certain demographic of player, you know, that this young maverick, maybe there's a cultural thing there where he struggles with these types of guys, right? So I do think that was an accident waiting to happen, potentially, almost like putting Ivan Toney with Mikel Arteta. That's just not going to mesh. He'd be better at a different club. But Sterling coming to Arsenal, I think, is a totally different situation. I think that he's been in title races. He understands that, you know, he can bring a lot of experience even if he's not on the pitch. And of course, the obvious biggest difference is that he's worked with Mikel Arteta before, right? So this is I think the problem for Arsenal fans with the Raheem Sterling transfer is that it seemed like we were going into the summer wanting Calafiori. It seemed like we were going into the summer wanting Mikel Merino. And clearly we can all see that Raheem Sterling is not the player that we set up with or really wanted in the first place. That was not the star man at all. So, you know, there you go. Martinelli is crap, Nick, fake Brazilian. That other guy is the real Brazilian. He's cold. Listen, Man City always get these wingers, yeah, that look cold when they first get them. Do you know what I'm saying? Man was saying the same thing about Doku, and now I'm looking at Doku saying he's looking shaky. So, boy, do you know what I mean? Who knows? Who knows? Let's see what happens, bro. Because, do you know what I mean? Like I say, let's just see what happens. Because, boy, Doku's looking a bit average right now. I'm not going to lie to you. Doku's looking a little bit average. The team's just about to take kickoff, and we'll be in for the first half. Let me know what you lot score predictions is. You know, I don't want to be cocky, but I think Arsenal can do it. I believe Arsenal can do it. Can we keep a clean sheet against Brighton? Yeah, exactly, bro. You're saying, Himanshu in the chat saying that Doku's crap, but when he first come in and he was doing flicks and tricks and that, man were like, whoa, this Doku guy's serious. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you come into a new club, let's see what happens. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. Himanshu in the chat says 3-1. You know, keep the comments coming. Let me know. You know, this isn't me being gassed. I'm going for a young conservative 2-1. But let's see, man. Let's see. We've kicked off and they go long straight away and David Raya collects. And people seem to target our left back quite a lot, especially when Zinchenko starting. You know, in the first game against Wolves, they were just going long right onto Zinchenko's head. And Zinchenko, I think, is a very technical player in terms of passing and you know, you can pick out good passes and stuff like that. However, you know, from the perspective of the physical side of the game, struggles. He's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest guy. feel much more confident with Jurriën Timber there. And as difficult as that is for Zinchenko, there's nothing he can do at this stage in his career. We could be in behind with Ødegaard looking to pick out a pass, and the pass is cut out. It's good to see Matoma back, even though he's playing against us. He's one of the players that I would have really liked to see playing for Arsenal. I say, as he did that ball run out? No, the ball didn't run out. Thomas Partey on the ball. Let's see if Thomas Partey can stay fit for the rest of the season, man. I think Neto, who's Chelsea's best signing? I mean, you can't expect me to remember them all because you're making so many signings. But I would say Neto. I think Neto is the player that would have had the most interest from the most kind of big clubs, right? He's certainly on our list. I would have rather had Pedro Neto come in versus Sterling. I think the Sterling deal tells us that, Mikel Arteta clearly is believes in the starting 11 and is looking to bolster and strengthen the bench more than he's looking for someone to come in and take anyone's starting position. So maybe Sterling is better for us in terms of that, but maybe Saka needs some challenging. And someone like Pedro Neto can challenge Saka and add more to his game. Saka now, as we say that, getting to the byline, trying to get across the box. Declan Rice, we're knocking on the door right now. We are knocking on the door. Trossard standing strong. And Brighton have come away with the ball. That was really, really good play from Saka, just as we were talking about him as well. João Felix is another one. João Felix was another one. João Felix come to you lot's club and he played well for 1 or 2 games and then looked meaty after that, looked terrible. And then your fans didn't even want him back. So, you know what I'm saying? Your squad's massive. It's ridiculous. You should have just given us Mudryk on loan. You know what I'm saying? Free Mudryk, man. So I'm saying Mudryk looks like a man in an abusive relationship. He didn't even want to be there, like that. So boy, it's what it is. But yeah, I'm going 2-1. Himanshu saying 3-1. Let's see. I think, I like getting some of these misplaced header from one of the Brighton defenders, but Havertz nearly got onto it, but he wasn't quite able to get there. Yeah, man. I like these games against not necessarily top 4 teams, but like kind of top 4 contenders, Brighton and Aston Villa. These are the kind of games I like early in the season. It's not a Man City, it's not a Liverpool, but it's a challenge enough. It's enough of a challenge to keep you sort of, to keep you on your toes type of thing. I always forget Ben White's ex-Brighton as well. So we've got 2 ex-Brighton players starting for us. We've got Ben White and Trossard both starting against Brighton. Danny Welbeck has a good record against us as well. He scored against us a couple of times since he left us and went to Brighton. Scored against Manchester United as well. He scored against Man United loads of times. So Danny Welbeck is definitely a player that has a bit of a history of scoring against previous teams. And let's see what Brighton do, because, Brighton, they're a very attacking team. And against the defence like Arsenal's, I don't know if that's the right strategy, but that's where they play their best football, right? So do you play your best football and see what happens, or do you try to switch up the plan? That's a terrible pass from Jurriën Timber. Do you try to switch up the plan depending on your opposition? I do think Sterling could be good for us as well. I do think Sterling will be really good for us. Himanshu said, I hate Watkins with a passion. How could he miss that chance? Listen, you're up against Big David Raya, the Golden Glove winner of last season. Do you know what I mean? It's intimidating. Do you know what I mean? You're a big club like Arsenal. Come to the carpet. It's an intimidating place. I think that's João Pedro's just chased down Ben White and nicked the ball away from him. From Ben White and Saliba. Thomas Partey does really well to get that ball away. And Arsenal still playing with it at the back. Come on, man. Let's get rid of it. It's a good pass out. That's good play from Havertz. Havertz looking more and more confident, dropping in the channels, receiving the ball. I think he's playing well, playing really well. You can see a lot more confidence from him at the moment. Havertz looking really confident there, dropping in to give a passing out option and then setting up an attack. Didn't quite come off, but he's playing some of the best football I've seen him play in a long time. Kai Havertz. 5 minutes in so far. Ben White does well against Matoma, but you can see that's going to be a battle. Ben White's going to be in a tough game, and he's probably not going to be able to attack as much as he normally would with the overlaps and stuff like that. you always think Trossard's just got a goal in him. He'll shoot from anywhere. He's on the edge of the box. Oh, I'm not sure if that was a kind of an L1 triangle scoop ball over the top or if that was a shot, but it was a little bit wayward. I think that was a cross for Kai Havertz. I think. Himanshu in the chat says, Nick, I saw a while ago that if AJ and Usyk fight now, loads of people are saying AJ knocks him out. Now, what do you think about that? I like AJ, but that's just delusion. Yeah. No, there's no way. There's no way. Not no way, but AJ's gained a lot of confidence. He's gained a lot of experience since those losses. We see him. I think him and Ben Davison make a great team. Hang on, Saka's in. Here's that free kick right on the edge of the box. That is a free kick for Arsenal, right on the edge of the box. I think Ben Davison make a good team, but not enough to beat. He's still quite slow at just breaking players. Getting the sports mixed up now. He takes a while to get to break fighters down, and he will lose every round against Usyk trying to break him down. And once Usyk gets past 6 or 7 rounds, it's pretty much over. So I don't know if he knocks him out. Usyk is extremely difficult to knock out. I don't think he's ever been knocked out, ever, amateur or professional. So he's never been knocked out professional, never, and I don't think he's been knocked out amateur. So you're asking someone to do something that's never been done before. I just don't see it. And I really hope Tyson Fury doesn't retire because I want to see AJ. But Daniel Dubois is not a technical boxer. Right? He's a knockout artist, so he's going to go forwards, and then AJ's going to go forwards. Poor free kick from Saka. Saka's often quite poor from set pieces. His set piece record isn't the best. Odegaard, ball over the top to Saka. Can he finish? It's a shot on target. That's really good football. We're playing really, really good football. I think Brighton, like I say, Brighton are trying to attack. The more they attack, the more opportunity there is for Arsenal. It's a lovely little chipped pass for Odegaard. Saka probably has to do better with that. He manages to get contact, but rolls it back to the goalkeeper. And probably, if he gets better contact, that could be a goal. Oh yeah, Shane in the chat. My bad, Shane. I always forget that. Everyone, if you're in the chat, like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Seeing some shots of Raheem Pound Sterling playing for Arsenal. Raheem Sterling thing feels a bit like the Higuain deal or the Benzema deal. When he was at Liverpool, he was linked with Arsenal. When he was at City, he was linked with Arsenal. And then he ends up at Chelsea kind of on the slide and just ends up at Arsenal. It's one of those you've been linked to him for so long, all through his career. It always seemed like at some point, obviously black brother from North London as well, albeit from Northwest, from Wembley sides. It always felt like he'd end up at Arsenal at some point. Ideally would have liked him a couple of years ago, but you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. Lewis Dunk trying to go long. Good battle from Trossard. And we come away with the ball. Is that a foul? I think that is just a foul from James Milner. James Milner, what a player, by the way. What a player. Manchester said, Nick, I was talking to my friend and he said that David Benavidez ain't all that. He's a spicy Callum Smith. I don't disagree. With that. He's a better Callum Smith, but I can see his Callum Smith comparison for sure. I'm not mad at that. He's big for the weight. Odegaard to the byline, cuts the ball across. João Pedro flicking it out. There's goals in this for us. 10 minutes in, and we're on top of them. We're doing well. There's opportunities here for us to score 100%. Long ball over the top to Saka. Is he onside? I'll level with you, Nathan Brown. Shout out for the comment, G. You know what? I ain't got a timer, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I just have to just keep regularly letting you know what time it is, bro. We're just coming up to 10 minutes in. But yeah, man ain't even got a timer, bro. Man's new to the streaming thing still. Do you know what I mean? We'll get there though. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll get there, bro. I promise you. But man's just doing it on a quick thing right now. Just coming up to 10 minutes in. And like I said, Brighton are talented. Brighton have a very talented team. Very ambitious team. But you can see the difference, not even to disrespect United, but you can see the difference between coming to Arsenal and trying to attack versus going and playing United and trying to attack. Yeah, I mean, it's a very different. It's a very, very. Nathan, that's perfect. I'd rather you be 30 seconds behind than 30 seconds ahead. You know, like that. So, boy, Yeah, man's pretty up to date with the timing still. Saka cutting in on his left foot. That's a great little chop back on his right. Saka is, and Ben White goes for the cross and will take that corner, I think. I think that's a deflection for a corner. And I think the ref hasn't given it. Let's see if it's come off dunk or not. Bukayo Saka just does the little Ronaldo chop that you used to see Ronaldo do. Let's see that one more time. Does that come off Lewis Dunk? It comes right off his arm. It comes right off his arm. It's got to be a corner kick. I think there may be a penalty for the penalty. Saka cuts in on his left foot, does a little Ronaldo chop on his right. We don't really see Saka doing that. We don't really see Saka doing that type of footwork. You know, he's normally quite pass and move and quite sensible. So that's good to see. Again, another player that's growing in confidence, growing in a little bit of arrogance. You know, moving from being like, you know, the young star boy to being a man. So you see him cupping his ear at his opponents and different things like that. I don't mind all of that. You need a little bit of that to be a top player. Declan Rice with the corner. His corners have not been great most of last season. Let's see what we can do here. Corner comes in. Gabriel at the back post. Isn't that gone for another corner? No, it's gone for a goal kick. Yeah, we score a lot of goals from corners. And it's a good, well-worked corner. You can see what Gabriel's trying to do. João Pedro tries to stay with him. I think that should be a corner. I think it comes with João Pedro, but it is what it is. But the deliveries from Saka and Rice, we get goals from corners. I don't want to criticize them too much, but they're just not consistently good. You know, we lack a little bit of that consistency. Leandro Trossard trying to do a little bit too much and loses it. And he gets it back now. Odegaard's there, free for him. Trossard has made 2 or 3 mistakes in that little phase of play. Matoma just skips past Ben White and nutmegs him. Matoma's a problem. I did say that straight early on. Matoma against Ben White is probably going to be their best chance is going to be Matoma running at Ben White for sure. Ben White can handle him, but Matoma, he will get some joy. And this is why I predicted 2-1, because I think we can score. I think we can outscore them, but if we can get a clean sheet against Brighton, that would be very impressive because they're a very, very good attacking team. Like I say, only 4 teams in the league so far that have won their first 2 opening games. And us and Brighton, those 2 teams. The other 2 are Manchester City and Liverpool, who have been, you know, winning leagues over the last few years. So that's the kind of standard, right? That's the kind of standard that we're at. Obviously, only 2 games in, but we'll see. But Trossard definitely, you can see overplaying it, trying a little bit too hard. And it's difficult, right? You want to make an impression, but sometimes you make an impression by keeping things simple. Nathan Brown, what's your prediction? I predicted 2-1. Himanshu in the chat predicted 3-1. I'll take a 2-1, man. I will take a 2-1 for sure. Saka being manhandled a bit. Matoma skips in, jumps onto his pass. He tried to play it back to Saliba and it was intercepted. 13 minutes in, we're just letting Brighton get into the game a little bit more. Oh, it's a good header. And I tell you what, the cross comes in. It looks like it's going straight to Timber. He's flat-footed, waiting for it, and Brighton's winger just nicks in and gets a header. I think that will go down as a shot on target. It's gathered relatively easily by David Raya, but yeah, defensively we just need to be a little bit more forward-thinking. I think at the moment, a little bit more forward-thinking. Himanshu says, you guys will win the league. Hurts to say, but this is the year. Boy, don't try to jinx us with that Chelsea judge, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? Hopefully this is the year. You know, if we can get through Brighton and not concede, I'll be very happy with that. James Milner down, injured, 14 and a half minutes in. What a player he's been in the Premier League. And it looks like they're gonna make the sub straight away. I think he knows that he's done. I think it's on the knee where he's got some strapping already, on the knee or the thigh where he's already got some strapping there. So it looks like that's a bit of a recurring problem. Yeah, I see this Brighton manager looks young. He's only 31. Oh, yeah, it's getting like that though. It's getting like that. Do you know what I mean? You had Will Still, who was quite a young manager, the manager that got the job from playing Football Manager. I think he's been sacked now, but he was a young manager as well. They're getting younger and younger. You know, footballers are realizing quickly whether they're going to make it or not to the top level and quickly moving into management, coaching, all that kind of stuff. Arteta giving his team a team talk. It always looks a bit like an American football game when they just stop the game midway through and just start doing a little team talk thing. But I think we started all right. I think we started 15 minutes in. I think we started all right. We're just letting Brighton get into the game a little bit. And I think we need to impose ourselves a little bit more, get the momentum back. Football's all about momentum. I mean, we've seen top teams be under the cosh by teams that are nowhere near as good as them, but it's momentum at the end of the day. James Milner's, they're going to make that sub. Yeah, Arteta loves it too. Yeah, he's a slight micromanager, Arteta. Do you know what I'm saying? He's a micromanager. So that's why a lot of players are not necessarily going to enjoy playing for him. But you know what? A lot of the best managers are. Pep is another micromanager. Pep just has a much better CV, right? So when Pep's trying to micromanage you, you just accept it. If it's Arteta, depending on the kind of CV you've got as a player, do you listen to him or not? Do you respect him as much as you respect somebody else? But really, when you're playing for anyone or working for anyone, you should respect the manager. But that's not the reality of life. But yeah, there's a lot. He definitely does. He just thinks he can extract every ounce of advantage out of the game, which is what top players and managers do. Do you know what I mean? Thomas Partey spraying the ball out to Saka. Can we keep Partey fit? Big switch of the ball from Ben White all the way over to Trossard. Quick cross in. Could we be in there? Ødegaard? Ødegaard arriving into the box. That's brilliant from Arsenal. It's just, not only is it brilliant, it's just not really what we see. We don't really see, big, long, wide switches of play and then early crosses into the box. Trossard gets the ball, and like I said, last time he did it a little bit too much. He just quickly gets the ball, gets it under control, whips it into the box straight away. And Havertz really should be there a little bit earlier. It was Ødegaard. He caught it on his right foot, which is obviously not the foot that he wants to really be catching it on. But João Pedro has just taken the ball out of play and smashed it away. And I think Arteta wants him to get a yellow for that. But he's not going to. Himanshu said, I'm glad to see De Zerbi didn't go to a big club in the Premier League, especially not United. Ten Hag is a scrub, man. Yeah, I mean, again, like you were saying about that Savinho at Manchester City, I don't doubt that he's a talented player. Manchester City don't really buy bad or untalented players, but we've seen them buy players before that look unbelievable in the first couple of games and struggle to be consistent. So that's what it's about at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, you look at Bukayo Saka, there's definitely wingers in the league that are more flashy than Bukayo Saka, that are going to be more entertaining to play. You look at a highlight reel of Sancho versus the highlight reel of Saka. Sancho's reel is more entertaining, but Saka's just more consistent. And at the top level, what do you want? Do you want an entertaining player or a consistent player? Ideally, you'd have both, but it's the new world of football that we live in. You don't really get both. So, well, it's a heavy touch from Ødegaard. Really heavy touch, and I think it's caught late. It was a 50-50 challenge, but it was caught late. Julian Timber's been quite quiet as well. He's not inverting as much as he normally would. It was Timber that wins the ball. Plays it back to Ødegaard. Ødegaard receives it with a heavy touch, and as he's running onto the heavy touch, he gets caught. And he looks like he's in some pain, but he should be okay. I think Ødegaard's probably the player we possibly most have to keep fit. Would you say? I think he's the player we don't really have the highest quality backup for. Showing Mikel Merino with his misses, he's in his arms in a sling. There's I'm just coming up to 20 minutes. I'm like 19 minutes 55 right now. There's rumours that this is a bit of a ploy to get Mikel Merino out of the Spain squad. I don't know how much I believe that. I don't know why Merino would have loyalty to a new manager in a new club he's not played for over his national team where he's just won a major trophy. So I don't know how much I believe that. Hopefully it's true. And he can be fit and available quicker. But yeah, exactly. You look at if someone's entertaining and consistent, you're looking at Eden Hazard, you're looking at Neymar, Obviously, your Messi's and Ronaldo's, you know, that's very, very rare. Very rare. Do you know what I mean? I say this all the time about like players like Adel Taarabt. Yeah, he was really beautiful when we look back at football, but the reality is, at the time when he was playing, he wasn't that guy. Like not to play top football for a top club. He just wasn't. That's the truth. Odegaard is quality the best number 10 in the league after KDB for me. Yeah, I think that he has to. I think he's just going to come off and get a little bit of treatment quickly. Odegaard. I don't know if he's coming. I don't think he's coming off because he's still got the captain's armband. But I think he's going to come off for a minute and get some treatment. And just take a minute. Yeah, I think there's a level or two he can go up above his game. You know, Kevin De Bruyne is bigger and more physical, even though I know he's not known for his physicality, but he's a more powerful player. Odegaard is a little bit more slight. Trossard got the ball in Saka's position. We get a corner. Hopefully this break does well for Martinelli as well. I mean, Martinelli's had a bad run of form before, and we had him dropped and just rotated a little bit, and then he came back and hit a really good run of form. So, you know, we've done this before. We've seen this before with him. He's still a young player. He's going to be in and out of form. These things are going to happen. And of course, Raheem Sterling is just going to bring something a little bit different. Saka with the corner. Is it going to be a good one? Nope. Doesn't beat the first man again. Saka at corners once again, just not able to really do what we would want him to do. And the Brighton goalkeeper, you know, when we get the corners right, we score. But the deliveries are not great. You know, we have good deliveries, 1 in every 4 or 5 corners. You know, we need to be better from set pieces. He needs to be better from set pieces. And Declan Rice takes corners for England as well. You know, he's got no excuse. They both got no excuse, really, to be fair, for those types of poor corners. But it is what it is. Am I happy with the Sterling signing? I would be a lot happier if we'd gone and got ourselves an actual striker as well. You know what I'm saying? If we'd gone and got, you know, Gyökeres or someone like that. Big looped ball in the Arsenal box. David Raya gathers. I said it earlier. Yeah, that Baleba guy does look really good. He looks really, really solid. I said earlier in the stream, Nathan, that Marino always seemed like that was Arteta's choice. He wanted Marino, he got him. And Calafiori seemed like, Arteta wanted Calafiori, he went and got him. Sterling doesn't feel like that's the player that we wanted to get. It feels like we went into the window because nobody was expecting him to just be up for a loan move, paying 50% of his wages. From a financial perspective, yes, it's great. But as football fans, we don't care about the wages. That's not our problem, right? We want good players and trophies. That's what matters. And is that not a foul, ref? No foul? What's going on? Odegaard's on the floor and they're kicking him and the ref's not giving a foul. But yeah, that's my problem with the Sterling signing is it seems like we went into the window, we tried to get someone, I don't know who, and we failed at that. And as a backup, we got Sterling. So it's very similar to what we did with Mudryk and Trossard. We landed on our feet with that, and we may well land on our feet with Sterling as well. But that it's not good for a club that's our size. You'd expect back-to-back title challenges with our type of pool to not be, and our finances, to not be able to go out there and get whoever that player is. You know, it cost us that season when we wanted Mudryk. I know Mudryk went to Chelsea and he wasn't that good, but the feeling was if we had got Mudryk and Caicedo in that window, we should have won the league. And I don't want this to be a similar situation. We wanted Isak, but it would have cost too much or whatever the case may be. You know, that's not our problem. You know, when we need to go into the window, have a certain signing that we want to be able to get and go and get those players done. Do you know what I mean? And like Himanshu said in the chat, we let go of a lot of attackers. You know, Vieira's gone, Reece Nelson's gone. I think there is 4. Vieira, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, and Smith Rowe. All gone. You know, Smith Rowe's going, and they'll all go and play. I know it's a different environment. It's not the same thing, but You know, all of those players will go and do well. You know, you see Smith Rowe already scoring for Fulham. 25 minutes gone in the game so far. It's becoming a little bit more even. Good interception from Saliba. Saliba's just so good. Great ball through. Havertz has got it. Tries a little flick to Saka. Doesn't come off. Havertz is such an awkward player to watch, isn't he? Who else has that kind of style? Berbatov used to have a kind of similar style-ish. Don't know who else has like kind of an ugly style, but it works. You know, people say that about Salah, right? A lot of the stuff he did didn't look clean, but it was just just got output. Havertz always looks like he doesn't really know how to control his own body. Now they've got a throw. Mane was a little bit cleaner, I think, style-wise. He definitely was a little bit cleaner. But yeah, Salah for sure. They've just gone long, straight over the top. I think that's João Pedro running onto it. And again, the great wall of Saliba. Great defending. Brilliant defending from Saliba. I don't know where Ben White was. He just gets caught out of position. Yeah, Pedro, what a player he is as well. And then Brighton willing to take a little bit more risk. You know, someone just picked up the ball on the edge of the box and just went for a bit of a speculative strike. It took a deflection and then went back to a Brighton player to set up another attack. They're willing to gamble a little bit more, which I think when you're not as big a team as Arsenal, you can do that. I don't think it's just about being as big a team. It's just not how we play. I would like to see us gamble a little bit more. Nathan Brown says, I fully get what you mean. Like, you define targets for key positions. This one felt random, more of an opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's no way we went into the transfer window and said, yeah, we're going to get Raheem Sterling on loan. There's no way. And it's fine. Like, you know, we figured it out. There's the credit to Edu for figuring a solution out. Brighton corner coming in now. Looks like it's hit towards the back post, maybe overhit. Saka's going to try and see it out. I think he's fouled. We'll take that. But yeah, you know, credit. It's always Arsenal, right? There's nothing good without something bad as well. The credit to Edu to land on his feet and pick up a quality experience signing like Sterling. You know, fair play to him for that. But at the same time, it's a failing to not be able to go out and get your signings as well, right? So there's goods and bads. That can be a problem for us at some point in the future. It's worked out a couple of times, but we can't keep doing it. So it's plugging my charge. We go long. Declan Rice. Declan Rice has been quite quiet today. Was quiet last game as well. Saka just barged off the ball there by Mitoma, I think that was. Yeah, Rice needs to impose himself on this game a lot more. If Rice is going to be the 8, he needs to change his brain to driving with the ball. I think that's a foul on Saka. I actually do. There's very little actual contact on the ball. I guess you could argue it's shoulder to shoulder. Seen those given. Yeah, when Rice is playing in the 6, he's just going to break up play and move the ball on to more progressive players. But when he plays in the 8, he's going to have to be the progressive player. And I think he's got to change his mindset on that. Thomas Partey is just giving the ball away really cheaply. And Brighton could be in here. I think we're just scrambling that ball away. No, they're still on the attack. And it's gone wide for a goal kick. That's a couple of times we keep doing these passes without looking. Declan Rice was running up. flicked a pass to Saka. Saka wasn't expecting it. There's clearly no communication and not looking. Thomas Partey just does the same thing. The ball goes behind Ødegaard and straight away Brighton are in. The passing needs to be a little bit tighter. Passing needs to be a little bit tighter, a little bit more kind of sensible, friendly passes, I think we call it. They're not really helping out their teammates with these passes. That's a foul. Joel Veltman fouls Trossard. Trossard did go over a little bit dramatically. You can tell the Brighton team just do not like Trossard. Every time we play them, I was a bit of a drag down, to be fair. Yeah, you can tell that there's clearly no love lost between Trossard and that team. You never see him like shaking hands with anyone in the tunnel, no hugs. There's no affection at all. There's just pure hatred and bad vibes between him and his former team, which is obviously funny from our perspective. As a team, we're not doing too badly so far, coming up to 32 minutes in, but there are some individuals. I don't really feel like all the individuals are involved in this game. I mean, Timber's not really impacting the game the way I would like to see him do. Rice isn't involved in the game. There's a head injury here from Saka, and the ref has just decided not to. The ref's taken too long. He's only just realised it's a head injury, so he's blowing the whistle. But it was clearly a head injury from the beginning. I think an elbow has gone into Saka's ear. Yeah, it's an elbow. It's not deliberate. And he's been stepped on as the defender's looking at the ball. But the ref is taking all day to see. You can see that straight away. And the ref's taking ages to see what's happening. Then Brighton are feeling frustrated and disgruntled because it feels like they're on the attack when the ref blows the whistle. Awful refereeing. And no foul for the first one, or the Matema one on Saka. Lewis Dunk going long. Good battle from Timber. Release the ball now. Oh, he does well there, Timber. That's what he's there to do. He can go both ways. He can play on both feet. That's his strength. Trossard out wide. We've got to move the ball. Trossard keeps trying to run the ball and dribble it. Let's just move the ball quicker. Ben White gives it away. Wins it back, though. We've just gotten a little bit sloppy. I'm not sure why. Don't know if we're getting a little bit desperate for the goal or what it is, but we're only 34 minutes in. We've clearly, man for man, got the better players at the moment. You can see that. Nathan said it'll be interesting to see what happens when Sterling returns to Stamford Bridge and Sancho goes to Old Trafford with points to prove. And Himanshu said they can't play because they're on loan. I think Sterling's is a loan, but isn't Sancho a buy? I'm pretty sure. Did they not buy Sancho? I thought that was a 25 million buy. Am I wrong? Saka back to Ben White, or back to Saliba rather. We're not going to cross it in. We're not looking to cross it into the box. Oh, loan plus obligation to buy. Okay, fine. That's all right. We smoked Chelsea 6-0 last year, so it's fine. We don't need Sterling for that. That's all right. We'll put Ethan Wanieri on or something like that. Playing the ball at the back, and we're slowly teasing Brighton's back line out of position. Yeah, Trossard's passing he hit that one cross that was really good. Some of his footwork's been good, but his passing hasn't been very good. And it's difficult. We do try to play football. Arteta likes them to play football in quite tight gaps. We need very, very good passers in this team. People that can manipulate the ball really well. And Trossard can do that. But it's obviously not the main part of his game. Yeah, you man did beat us 6-0 on the 1000th game. That is true. We're talking about now. We're talking about recent. You know what I'm saying? We've had 3 managers since then. You man have probably had 100 managers since then. And all the way back to David Raya. Yeah, there's obviously watching on a big screen TV, you can see the defensive lines. It's a little bit harder to see when you're on the pitch, but we need to be able to see when there's that gap. There's gaps that open, and the moment is there to strike. And if we don't strike there and then the gap gets closed, then you have to wait for the next one. It's all about timing. It is difficult, but it is all about timing. And we've had when the gaps are opening, the gaps have been there. We just need to strike at the right time. Brighton go long. I'm surprised to see them going long as much as they are. Very, very soft foul given away there by Gabriel. Very soft. Yeah, in the early part of the game, the kind of first half of the first half, I thought we had some good opportunities, and then it's just kind of slipped a little bit. Brighton free kick straight into the hands of David Raya. Did we go long early? We do. Trossard is running onto it, but the keeper's going to come out and collect. Good from Timber. Just get rid. Saka up against Dunk. He's got the ball through. Havertz against the keeper. Chips it over him. Is it in? It's in. 1-0. Is he onside? Is he onside? That's 1-0 Arsenal. That is brilliant from Bukayo Saka. Absolutely brilliant. Nathan was just saying it's been uneventful. There you go. You happy now? You got an event. 1-0. That is brilliant from Bukayo Saka. It's actually brilliant from Jury and Timber as well. The ball's coming across, and Timber, who often overcomplicates things so much, he just smashes the ball straight out and goes really, really long. And the ball's up and high for so long. Lewis Dunk is waiting for the ball to come down. As Lewis Dunk is about to get onto the ball, Saka just gets physical with him. He's not expecting it. He thinks that he's all alone. Saka just nudges him behind him and then quickly pops that ball on to Kai Havertz. And it's a chipped ball over the top. 60 million down the drain, and Kai Havertz scores again. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you so much for this player, because what a player he is. And this is what I was saying to my boys. This is what I was saying, Nathan. I don't know if you were in the chat before, but I was saying this. Some of my Man United friends were getting annoyed because I was saying Sterling could be good for us when I thought he could be trash for them. But that's not how football works, right? There's going to be certain players and certain managers that players get along with. And I think that, you know, Havertz is with Arteta, and Arteta has a set plan to get the best out of him. Where at Chelsea, you know, they didn't necessarily get the best out of him, right? And I think it could be a similar thing with Sterling, to be fair. 1-0 Arsenal. And it was uneventful, Nathan. You're totally right. It was a little bit uneventful, but I did say that the goals are there, the gaps are there, the opportunities are there. Now let's just be really sensible now. We don't need a second one in order to... we've gone straight away. We've gone quick again for Saka. I didn't think that we needed to, but we have, and we've lost the ball. This is where we can be sensible now. 40 minutes in. If we can get a second, that'd be great, but it's not a need, right? We don't need to risk anything. It's good defending from Brighton to get the ball back to the keeper, because Kai Havertz was there lingering. Another goal for Kai Havertz, by the way. You know, his goal return, his GA since that penalty, when Arsenal got that penalty, they're just putting his stats up now. in 9 appearances since February 2020, since 24th February, 9 appearances and 10 GA for Kai Havertz, which is mad. He gets 7 goals and 3 assists in 9 games since February. That's just at the Emirates, by the way. Nathan, who do you support, by the way? Because I thought you were an Arsenal fan this whole time. Good passing out. Again, we're risking it a little bit. It's riskier than it needs to be. With Ødegaard and Partey doing things that they don't really need to be doing. They've managed to get it away. Declan Rice picks the ball up, trying to gallop with the ball. And that's a very late challenge. And it could end up being a yellow card for Declan Rice. And Van Hecke gets into Rice's face, and Gabriel gets into Van Hecke's face. And I understand it. All of that has come. All of this yellow card for Declan Rice and this little skirmish that's about to happen, this has all come from Arsenal trying to be too cute and do things that we do not need to do. It's not necessary. 41 minutes into the game, we're 1-0 up. We've got relative control. We ain't got to do that. We do not have to be playing cute football on the edge of our own box for one mistake. Brighton have committed so many players forwards. One mistake, and they're in for a goal. We could give away a goal so easily here. Let's not do that. We need better game management here. It was Belabor that gets a little tackle away, and then Rice is trying to recover the ball, goes for the slide, but the Brighton man gets there first. And, it is a yellow card. 100% it's a yellow card. Can't argue with that. And this is probably going to be a yellow card for... I thought it was going to be a yellow card for Arteta, but it's a yellow card for Brighton's manager as well. I'm not sure what he's arguing for, because that challenge wasn't a red card challenge. So I found you through expressions, and you're one of the few level-headed Arsenal fans. Thank you, my bro. I appreciate that, man. X is my brother still. I appreciate that. Do you know what it is? Yeah, first and foremost, I'm a fan of football. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm a fan of football, so I can't come out here and say Arsenal are going to win all the leagues and all the, it's just pointless. I enjoy assessing good quality football. Do you know what I mean? I try to be fair as much as possible. Obviously, man's got some bias in there, but Ødegaard onto Havertz. Havertz again with that weird style, trips over the ball and loses it in the middle of the park. Brighton now going to try and set up an attack. And there's a foul on João Pedro. Is that Saka? If that's going to end up being a yellow card, that's going to be very frustrating because, once again, we're still trying to do things in cute areas that we do. I think it is Saka, and it could be a yellow. I think he'll be lucky to escape a yellow card there, Saka, because João Pedro is mounting an attack and he gets taken down. And we don't need to do it. It's totally unnecessary here. We're on the receiving end of 3 or 4 waves of attacks, which we do not need to be on the end of. Because we're trying to be cute. It's only 1-0. We're not up by 4-0. It's only 1-0. We don't need to be doing this. Let's get back to what we were doing before. Free kick comes in. I think that goes for a goal kick. I know everyone's appealing for it. Should be a corner kick. I think it comes off Gabriel's foot, but he was kind of pushed into it. So I'm not sure what the line is flagged for. I think it's gone for a goal kick. Should have been a corner. Just coming up to 45 minutes. Could see maybe 3 minutes of added time, maybe. Goal, a couple of stoppages, but not too much. It's a good header from Thomas Partey. Big jump, big header. Don't really see him winning much in the air, to be fair. 4 minutes of added time, okay. Let's see out this 4 minutes nice and sensible. in years gone by, in the late Wenger years or the Emery years, those chances that we give away turn into goals because we didn't have as high quality defenders to get us out of trouble. The amount of times we'd be 1-2 up and then we just lose it would be ridiculous, you know. And you can see this a similar thing here. So it's 1-0, so I'll try and be positive, but it is very, very frustrating. Declan Rice wins the ball in the middle of the park. Saka, Ødegaard, trying to find Saka again, can't find him. Rice is still up there. Find Saka this time. Can we find a shot? Oh, and again, we find Trossard on the edge of the box. He looks like he's going to shoot, and he lets it run or does a little flick to Rice behind him. And Rice, they're just not quite on the same page, or Rice wasn't expecting it. Again, it's not necessary. Surely, just in that position, just get a shot off there. We work so hard to get a shot away. Just shoot. Gabriel over the top to Trossard. Trossard's onside. He's going to want a shot. Can he shoot? He did get a shot away, and it's gone. The keeper's gathered. Trossard will score this game, man. Trossard will score. You can just tell. Arguments about a potential offside, but I don't think it's not going to get given now. Not Trossard's best shot, but you can see what he wants to do. Julian Timber again, nice physical, good physical fullback. I don't mind it. I don't know what the ref's doing. What's the ref doing here? Is he checking the ball? Or? Just give me half time, man. Give me half time. João Pedro's cooking. He cooked Thomas Partey earlier. Just cooked Saka there. This João Pedro, is that going to be a yellow card? João Pedro taken down again. Yellow card for Thomas Partey. João Pedro out wide looks good. João Pedro out wide looks very, very good. He's got good feet. Just the little body feints. Yeah, he gets his shirt pulled back by Partey. Unnecessary yellow cards. Totally unnecessary yellow cards here. Got 25 seconds left in the half. Brighton come with the corner with a free kick, sorry. We've worked it. We've pushed them all the way back to their goalkeeper. If we did not have the defence that we have right now, it could easily be a draw. Saka pulled down. Definitely feels like there should be some sort of foul given for that, but the ref just decided to blow his whistle and not make a difficult decision. Listen, 1-1 half-time. Can't complain. 1-1? 1-0 half-time, sorry. Can't complain. Yeah, big opportunities. Let's talk about what we've just seen in that first 45 minutes. I think 1-0 is fair. Arsenal have had 6 shots, 5 on target. Brighton have had 3 shots, none on target. But they've had more possession, more passes. And we've picked up 2 stupid yellow cards, which were just totally unnecessary. We've had 2 corners as well, which I think were another big opportunity for us to go and score. We know how strong we are from corners. We know the physical presence that we have in this team. Our centre backs, Declan Rice, Kai Havertz as well. All of those players are very capable of scoring headers. The corners for the second half, the corner delivery has definitely got to be better. Nathan said Brighton need to improve because Arsenal will. You'd hope so. The question marks for me are game management, right? We had a good 15-20 minute spell where we were carving them open and creating some opportunities. Then between 20 and sort of 35, they started to come back into it. I saw João Pedro picking up the ball. I think Matoma was wide first, and he had some success, but then Pedro started to go wide and started trying to put it on them, on Ben White and Thomas Partey particularly. Thomas Partey, who, when he came in, similar to Mikel Merino, was known for winning the ball back and being a ball winner and stuff like that. That part of his game seems to have gone a little bit, almost similar to Casemiro. They've all got old overnight together. It's like they can still spray balls 40 yards across the pitch, but the legs don't seem to be there. The ball winning ability and the physicality doesn't seem to be there as much anymore, which is probably why Mikel Arteta has looked to refresh that. So they started to come back into it. We go and get that goal, which is brilliant play, first from Timber to get it out, then Saka, a little bit of IQ. And I talk about this all the time. Who in our team is going to show initiative? If the game's flat, or if we need to change the momentum, who is going to show the initiative to go and get us that winning goal? And again, it's Bukayo Saka who shows that initiative. Do you know what I mean? Lets Lewis Dunk think he's going to get the ball nice and easy, sets a trap, gets into him, wins the ball quickly on to Havertz, and it's a brilliant chip from Havertz over the goalkeeper, who's really left in no man's land, and that's no fault of the goalkeeper. So the goal was good. And in terms of improvements, yes, Brighton need to improve because Arsenal will. Hopefully, David Raya, I think, has been good so far. Obviously, no shots on target for him to deal with, but the distribution's good. The going long has been good. Picking up passes, I think, has been really good. The back four, I think, has been pretty solid. Timber was quiet for the first part of the game. We normally see him inverting, coming into the midfield, setting up attacks, being a real key transition player. He wasn't doing that for the first 20 minutes of the game. He started to do it in the second 20 minutes. And ultimately we got our goal, and it was him. So I think he's doing well. The midfield still feels like there's something missing. Ødegaard playing some really, really good football. He's a technical player. He's always going to look good in whatever he's doing. Thomas Partey doing well in bits. I think going forwards, Thomas Partey looks quite good. Defensively, Thomas Partey looks not as good. For me, I'm not going to say I'd make the switch because that wouldn't be true. I wouldn't make the switch. But for me at the moment, the way that they're playing, Declan Rice seems to be playing a lot more like a 6 in terms of he's looking to win the ball, but he's not looking necessarily to progress the ball. Whereas I think Thomas Partey is playing more like an 8, where he's less interested in the defensive side of winning the ball. He's much more interested in progressing the ball. We saw him get his goal last week. And at the moment, if you want someone popping up on the edge of the box, maybe you want Thomas Partey picking up on the edge of the box before you want Declan Rice there, just the way they're playing at the moment. That midfield balance needs to be sorted out. Saka, I think, has been really, really good. He's been the player that everything has been going through him this half. He's the key person that people have been looking for. Havertz, of course, got himself the goal, and Trossard is good in bits and pieces. He's not been consistently great, but he's been good in bits and pieces here and there. So can't complain overall. I don't think we're likely to see any changes or anything like that. We know Arteta doesn't really make halftime changes. No one's really had a howler. Annoyingly, 2 of our midfield, our 6 and our 8, are both on yellow cards right now, which is just not really what you want to be seeing. You don't want Partey and Rice to be on yellow cards going into that second half. So maybe that's something that we look at. Just reminding myself, Jorginho is on the bench. So maybe that's something that we have to take a look at. Ethan Ranieri as well, but I think that's unlikely. Zinchenko, who seems to not really be getting minutes, unlikely to get minutes if Timber is fit in the left-back position. Could he come on and be a bit of a line breaker in terms of what am I trying to say? In terms of midfield, can he come on and freshen up the midfield? I think that could be something interesting, and this could be the kind of opportunity to sort of investigate that. We've heard a lot about him being able to drop into the midfield. I think he's naturally a central midfielder. I don't know, Brighton are going long, so I don't know how much we really want him in the midfield if he's going long, but I'm not seeing Declan Rice competing for balls anyway. Maybe if Declan Rice drops into the 6 and Partey comes off, then this is late on in the game I'm talking about, not at halftime, then maybe we can get Zinchenko some minutes in midfield. In terms of attack, there's definitely opportunities there. I think the opportunity to bring on Martinelli late on against tired legs, I think could be really, really good because, like I say, Trossard is setting up lots of plays, but Brighton are playing with a very high line. There's big opportunity for Partey or Rice or Ødegaard to drop the ball over the back of that back line, and there's a big amount of space between the goalkeeper and the defensive line. That's how we got the first goal, and that is ripe for someone to run into, be that a Martinelli. In future games, hopefully we see someone like Raheem Sterling running in there. But that is exactly what we can do coming into late game. I wouldn't be surprised to see it stay 1-0 until about 65, 70 minutes. Then we get a Martinelli on, and then we're able to put balls in behind. If we just bring in a fresh midfielder of maybe a Jorginho, who we know likes to play balls over the top and break lines of his passing, and Martinelli come in and last 15, 20 minutes get a second goal, I wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. But, overall, can't complain. You look at Brighton, you have to remember Brighton are one of the teams that are predicted to be doing really, really well this season. This is a very challenging game. It's very easy to look at Brighton and say, well, it's only Brighton. Arsenal should be brushing these away. But it's a tough one. The same Brighton team beat Manchester United last week. So, we have to be realistic about what's happening here. We don't have any of our new signings available to us as well. So it is not quite a depleted squad. But, of course, there's no Raheem Sterling. There's no Mikel Merino. There's no Gabriel Jesus, right? So we're a little bit stuck for options coming off the bench, but ultimately I predicted a 2-1. I could still very well see a 2-1 happening because of the things I've explained. I think that we're likely to get a second goal, but they do have João Pedro, who looks very, very good. They do have Mitoma, who looks very, very good. So if we can get out of this with a clean sheet, I'll be very, very happy with that. And maybe even a little bit surprised. And also if we can get into this second, if we can start getting second and third goals and different things like that, we know Trossard has got a point to prove. He will desperately want a goal. We find him similar to how we did last week. He should be taking chances first time. That's what he does. And then once Martinelli comes on, which I'll be very surprised if he doesn't come on late on in the game for the last 15, 20 minutes, again, we know that Martinelli will have a big point to prove to get himself back into the team as well. So let's see what happens. Like I say, I think my prediction is on for a 2-0 personally. Overall, it's not bad. And I think what's given me confidence this Arsenal team is, like I say, I would rate this performance so far a 6, maybe a 7 out of 10, and we're winning 1-0 against Brighton. And we haven't played amazingly. We're just able to find routes to goal. We're able to find goals. We're able to win games and grind out results consistently. It could be a 2-0. If we end up 2-0 with a clean sheet, that'll be Wolves, Aston Villa and Brighton. That's not bad at all with 3 back-to-back clean sheets and scoring goals on a regular basis. And that's without our team really moving at optimal level. Do you know what I mean? We see, I think Rice is the opposite of what he did last season. Last season, he was man of the match or borderline man of the match pretty much every week, imposing himself on games, picking up the ball, driving the ball forwards, setting up attacks, taking shots. He was trying a little bit of everything. Today and last week, he was doing not much of anything. There's no real... I honestly think that, you move Partey into an 8 and you bring Jorginho on at a 6, apart from, like I say, winning headers. I don't know what we missed from Declan Rice at the moment. He's pretty anonymous so far in this half, and he was pretty anonymous last week. And I think even in the opening game, he wasn't amazing. So we need to be seeing a lot more from Declan Rice. We're not seeing Ben White overlap and attack as much. He did have kind of a speculative shot. We're not going to see that maybe as much because you've got Jurriën Timber on the left-hand side. So White is going to sit in something more of a back 3. And I think this is why Ben White is so good, because he can do that. Do you know what I mean? He can play in a back 3 if need be. He can go and overlap and be an attacking influence if you need him to be. He's a pretty solid defender. I know he hasn't covered himself in glory this half, but listen, he's playing up against Mitoma, who, like I say, is one of the best wingers in the league, and we know what he can do on his day. And as much as Mitoma's had a shot that's off target and nutmeg Ben White, ultimately, he hasn't actually done anything that's too damaging to Arsenal. So, I think for me, it's the midfield. The midfield needs more. It needs Merino. It needs some reinforcements. It needs possibly some rotation. I don't know what is happening with Declan Rice at the moment, but, you can let me know if you think I'm being too harsh, but this is somebody that I normally expect to come and take the reins at a club like Arsenal. And I'm not really seeing it, especially after the very, very high standards he set last season. Maybe he set the standards too high last season, but I think £100 million man We know what he's capable of. We want to see him get back to that. And Thomas Partey, a bit 50-50, as he always is. You know, he's going to make some mistakes, but he's going to do some amazing things as well. And the question is, are the amazing things going to outweigh the mistakes? And, you know, that really exists on a case-by-case basis, really. So let's see. My prediction's still on for a 2-1, 1-0 half-time. Listen, we'll just get ready for the teams to come out for the second half. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Very, very depleted squad. Not a very depleted squad, but a slightly depleted squad at the moment. I'm just looking at Brighton's team. What can they do? Do I see any? They've got no yellow cards. They've made that one substitution for James Milner going off. And like I say, they're having Enciso. I think Enciso can be a real game changer for them. They've got Adingra, who we know can be a game changer for them. They're the two that I would expect to see at some point in the second half. Adingra particularly I would expect to see, but Enciso is a brilliant number 10 and a real shooter as well. So, you know, if he gets an opportunity on the edge of the box, he will definitely be looking to shoot. I like a lot of the stuff I've seen Brighton doing, to be fair. I do like a lot of the stuff I've seen Brighton doing, but our defensive line has just been very, very strong, especially in terms of winning headers. If we're not winning these first and second balls, we could be in big trouble. But we've been winning them, and this is why we need Timber in there versus Zinchenko, sorry. We got a comment here from Bobby. Shout out Bobby, love Bobby. Thoughts on Arsenal not? Got to finish the comment. Thoughts on Arsenal not what? Not signing a striker, maybe? What's the question? There we go. Thoughts on Arsenal not signing a striker? Yeah, I thought so. The thing is, for me, I get it. I said it earlier in the stream. The problem I have with the Raheem Sterling signing is not Raheem Sterling in and of itself. It's that I don't believe that this is what the club went into the summer to do. There were obviously targets out there that they wanted that they didn't get, and that for me is disappointing. The signing itself is okay. We're landing on our feet. And it's not a terrible signing, but for a club of our stature in the position that we're in, when we've got the opportunity to go and win major silverware that we haven't won for many, many years, to not be able to go out and get the players that we want when we want them is really disappointing. In terms of the striker specifically, I really like what I'm seeing from Kai Havertz. I do. I don't like seeing him in the middle of the park. He looks like a striker. You know, he looks much more comfortable in the final third than he does in the middle third. There was a stat shown earlier. He's got 10 GA in the last 9 appearances at the Emirates Stadium. So I'm not mad at that, right? To go and get a striker that's going to be a level above Kai Havertz, I think is going to be quite expensive. And unless we're bringing in, for me, Alexander Isak, I didn't want Ivan Toney, to be honest with you. You know, someone that's going to be part of the project and is going to work with the manager well. I thought Isak is probably the closest we're going to find to that player. That's going to be 80 to 100 million pounds. And if we can't get someone of that level, I don't see why we would go and remove a player from the starting 11 that we've worked so hard on getting him up to this level, and he's really gelled with the team now. So I'm not too mad at that specifically. But yeah, like I say, the biggest problem for me, just about to take this kick off of the second half, the biggest problem for me is just that not getting the kind of targets that we actually wanted to go out and get. Do you know what I mean? Clearly, this is a bit of a makeshift signing and not exactly what we expected. So, but listen, we've just kicked off for the second half. My prediction's still on for 2-1. Let's see what happens. Need to see more from Declan Rice this half, 100%. Well worked from Trossard, Gabriel now. The problem I have with Rice, he's not playing badly. Good little flick into the box from Trossard. Back heel, Declan Rice. And it's gone out for a corner. That's much better. That's much, much better. Like I said, I want to see Declan Rice being more progressive. He's not playing as a number 6. He's playing as a number 8. His job is to progress the ball and either create scoring opportunities or score himself. And he needs to wrap his head around that responsibility. But that was good from Trossard to Timber and then Rice with the strike. I don't mind that at all. I need to see a lot more of that, though. And now we need a good corner. We had 2 corners in the first half. Both were a little bit flat. We need better corners. And then this is going to be one of the key ways we're going to be able to go and get ourselves a second goal here. So let's see. Let's see what we can do. Gabriel and João Pedro battling. I'm really liking João Pedro's style of play at the moment. Good cross in, and it's gone for a goal kick. It was Gabriel that got there at the back post. Just hasn't quite been able to. Brighton's defensive setup from corners has been really good, to be fair. You know, João Pedro is very good in the air. They've put João Pedro on Gabriel a couple of times, smothered him, and not really been able to allow him to get the goal. If we get another corner, I want to see us try something a bit different, because we've tried that same corner from that side 2 or 3 times now. But yeah, clearly looks like Arteta's had a chat with Declan Rice and is letting him know what he wants to see from him. Good tackle from Gabriel there. Trossard's got the ball now. What can he do? We'll take the throw. We'll take the throw. Bobby, what about you? What are your thoughts on the Sterling deal and the lack of a striker? You let me know. What do you think? Wouldn't be surprised to see Jurriën Timber score in this game as well. The way that Jurriën Timber's playing, getting up the byline, really direct and aggressive. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Kai Havertz, Rice again. Good feet from Rice. Be strong. That's never a foul. That is never, ever a foul there. And Rice has just taken a whack in the leg. What's the ref going to do here? Rice walks across the free kick, and as he walks across the free kick, it's a red card for Rice. A second yellow and a red card for Declan Rice. What the hell? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking. Game management. This is what I'm talking about. Game management. That is awful. That is awful. Down to 10 men right at the beginning of the second half. That is absolutely ridiculous. The problem that I have with this is that he didn't do this. There was no yellow card for João Pedro. When João Pedro ran the ball off and Arsenal went to take a throw in and João Pedro kicked the ball away, there was no card. There was no card for João Pedro when João Pedro kicked the ball away. But now Declan Rice has kicked the ball away or nudged the ball away. But let's say fine. Let's call it the same thing. Let's be really fair. João Pedro's run the ball off the pitch for a throw on, way off the pitch. The ref's given the throw. He kicks the ball away. Now, Declan Rice is given a free kick away. He nudges the ball away for a free kick, and he gets a yellow card. Where's the consistency here? Not to mention the fact that he's been kicked. Where's the consistency here? That is this is what I was talking about, game management. That is a fucking joke. Now everything's going to have to change. We were in the ascendancy. And I just said he's just come on for the second half. He's just started playing well and doing the things I want to see him doing. Someone's going to have to be sacrificed here for a little bit of extra defensive cover, whether that's Jorginho or Zinchenko, because Declan Rice and Thomas Partey, from a defensive perspective, hasn't been great. And I'm now not sure I like him in the midfield on his own against this type of team. We're going to have to sit very defensive and try and catch him on the counter-attack now. Not to mention the fact that he's going to be out. Declan Rice is now going to be out for the next game. And like Nathan says, Nathan's a United fan, so it's not even just me being biased. There's no consistency from the referees. None. Because João Pedro kicks the ball away, no yellow card. Declan Rice kicks the ball away, second yellow. Since that's ridiculous. That's his first involvement in the game in the second half. His first involvement. Okay. Thomas Partey also on a yellow card, by the way. So Thomas Partey is going to be in the midfield on his own on a yellow card. It's not what we need. We may need to get someone like a Martinelli on and a Jorginho one. Jorginho to shore things up, and Martinelli for counter-attacks, because we're going to need his pace. Trossard could be in, though. He's not in. That is insane. I can't believe what I've just seen. Is it just me? Talk to me. What's going on here? Is it just me? A second yellow card for that? Really? The ref doesn't have to give me a yellow card for that. He's made that decision. He doesn't have to. Because he didn't do it for João Pedro. Mitoma now running at Ben White. Gets the cross away. Yeah, that Brighton are just knocking on the door consistently now. Which reminds me a bit of that Liverpool game that we played, I think, season before last, where Martinelli got sent off. We had to just defend for our lives. The problem is now, we've got Trossard, who's not very quick. Mitoma's in again. David Raya catches. We're going to have to just long this game out as much as possible. Now we're in survival mode. I would like to see Martinelli here for me, because the problem that we have, Saka's going to drop back and defend. Everyone's going to drop back and defend. But Trossard and Havertz are not very quick. So even if we are able to win the ball and send it up, certainly from 60, 65 minutes, I want to be seeing Martinelli on the pitch, so that if we can get that ball in behind, we've got a runner onto it. I'm so pissed off. I can't believe what I've just seen. Good feet from Trossard. This ref's a fucking idiot. I can't believe what I've just seen. The first yellow, fair enough. The second one, I'm looking at it, the free kick is all the way back in his own half. It's not like he's just stopped. He's not stopped like a quick free kick where they're about to score. There's no need. It's stupid from Declan Rice, but the second yellow is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. It's going to have Declan Rice on a ban and Mikel Merino out injured. So Jorginho will have to come in for the next game. We're just in survival mode. They're just attacking consistently, attacking and attacking and attacking consistently. And our next game is Tottenham. It's going to be Jorginho at Tottenham, which is not what we need at all. And now we wait and try to grind out this result, because there's no consistency from the referees whatsoever. David Raya goes long. Where's Havertz? And Joel Veltman wins the ball. We're just going to have to grind out this game. Make it as slow as possible. We've got Tottenham next, Nathan. We've got Tottenham. I think it's Tottenham. Is it at home or at their ground? Tottenham at their ground is our next game. We have to not get rattled, not get petulant. I'm seeing a lot of complaining to the referee and different things like that. Let's just stick to the task and move on. 35 minutes left. And Kai Havertz is going to be key in this now because everything is going to go long. Everything is going to go long, and it's going to be Kai Havertz to win the headers. Looks like Calafiori is going to come on as well. I wonder who's going to be coming off now if Calafiori is coming on. Can't be any of the defenders. Unlikely to be Saka. Erdegaard's the captain. It's got to be Trossard, which he's going to be furious about because he'll want his revenge, but surely it's going to be Trossard. It's a great ball through the middle. And it's 1-1. Of course it is. Just as Calafiori's about to come on, it's 1-1. This is a joke. Absolute joke. Ball goes straight through the middle. Partly because we're a man down. David Raya makes a good save, but then João Pedro scores on the follow-up. It's 1-1. I said it before. I said it, didn't I, guys, at half-time? I said game management. It's just a straight ball through. That is awful. That is really poor. And you can see that the team has been mentally affected. And it goes right under David Raya as well. David Raya just tries to make himself big and it goes right under him. Yes, Trossard off. Trossard off and Calafiori on. Looks like Calafiori's gone left of a 5. In a close game like this, like, it's just can't believe it. Absolutely can't believe it. Declan Rice has just been an absolute clown. The ref's a clown as well, but still have opportunities. There will be opportunities for us to score, and we can play on the counter, but they're just going to be so good at exploiting the space that they've just played one simple ball wide, and the amount of running that we have to do to try and cover that man. Mitoma cuts in, shot from the edge of the box. Great block by Gabriel. And that goes for a goal kick. They are all over us. I don't know how we're going to be able to withstand this for 30 minutes. I really don't. Poor goal to concede. Lewis Dunk just sends the ball straight through the midfield. It's going to be so difficult now. Since the red card, we haven't created a single chance. Like, we've barely had the ball to be able to create a chance. Man, I'm talking about Casemiro, bro. What are you waffling about? Like, man, don't see Casemiro getting sent every week. What are you talking about? That's a dumb decision, bro. That's dumb from the ref as well, Shane. So the ref didn't give João Pedro a yellow card and he kicked the ball away. So I don't understand. What are we talking about? What's going on? Van Hecker rolling on the floor. I think he was caught by Havertz. We can't afford to lose our heads here. We can't afford that. This would normally, you know, it can't be like a late Wenger level collapse. João Pedro trying to drive the ball in again. We just really seem to struggle to win the ball back. Ben White kicks it out. We just can't seem to get on the ball at all. All we can do is get it away. We're really struggling to, you know, second half possession now, 72% Brighton, 28% Arsenal. We just can't get the ball. And we're a team, we like to play with the ball. And Rice is just starting to look good as well. Changed the whole momentum of everything. And I hope that we don't, you know, have this throughout the season and look back. We just need to get through this game and then get through Tottenham. I don't want to be looking back in several months' time and saying, yeah, you know, we're struggling because of that one red card. Red card as well. It's outrageous for that. Mitoma puts a good ball across. Ben White sends it out for a corner again. I don't know. Nathan feels like we can hold out for a draw. I don't know if we can. Mitoma and João Pedro, the two of them together. Adingra is probably going to come on late as well. I don't know if we can. Cross from Brighton straight into the hands of David Raya. David Raya trying to get Arsenal away. This is going to be our first opportunity now, proper opportunity to do something with this ball. Let's see what we can do. Thomas Partey's got it. Good run so far. All I'm saying is don't lose because you're talking big shit this week about my team. Your team's dead. Even if Brighton win, it would take us going down to 10 men for Brighton to win. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not the case for you, man. Ødegaard on the edge of the box. We need shots. We can't be too fancy or too precious. We need shots. He does well, gets the ball across the box. Ødegaard G'ing up the crowd. Oh, you were away. Okay. So you can lose away from home with 11 men. Okay, all right, fair enough. If that's the standards, then I mean, I can't argue with that, bud. Coming up to 65 minutes in, Calafiori is on, Trossard is off. Arsenal trying to have a bit of a spell with the ball. If we can somehow get a winner, oh my God. Ødegaard into Partey. Partey almost losing the ball there. With his silly, stupid little fucking turns. David Raya long for Havertz. Havertz knocks it down to Saka. Ref, no foul. The ref just seems to be reluctant to give any fouls now. Now he's giving the foul to Brighton's way. The ref's a fucking pussy. Arsenal win the ball back. Havertz. Lovely pass into Ødegaard. Calafiori's wide. Oh, Ødegaard's pass couldn't get there. Not giving up at all. Still fighting in this game. Doesn't look like a collapse. But the game's getting quite aggressive from both sides, and the ref only seems to be calling fouls when we get aggressive and not when they get aggressive. I still can't believe that second yellow. I actually can't believe it. Mitoma and João Pedro both on the same side. What a cheat code that is. Saliba clears. Finally, we get a foul. Thank you, ref. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That man's kicking the camera and everything, bro. Do it too. Shout out My Sports in the chat. Said, Nathan, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm trying to enjoy myself. I can't. Life can be stressful. Bro. I just want to see a Yardman interview after this, bro. Yeah, let's all get tipsy after this, man. Big man thing. Because what am I seeing right now? From Declan Rice as well. Like, he's meant to be like a good, strong mentality person, a leader. One of them ones I'm fuming at all parties involved. Serious. João Pedro just trying to create some space for them. Van Hecker as well. Saka does really, really well. Everyone's covering two players. Mitoma, what a cross that was. Mitoma, it didn't come to anything. Calafiori gets it away from the corner, but Mitoma just does an outside foot cross, bends it around the defensive line, and Danny Welbeck just can't quite convert it. And now it's a Brighton corner. And we know Danny Welbeck loves a corner. We've got to be good here. Nothing silly. Nothing silly here. We can't do anything silly. I think it's Joel Veltman who's wrestling with Ben White to try and get to the goalkeeper. Two players that know each other well. They always play together. Ben White being David Raya's bouncer right now. Corner comes in. David Raya gathers. Do we go for it quickly? He does. It's a big throw. Straight to Saka. I can't quite get control of it, though. Unlucky. I mean, he's up against 5 players, to be fair. It would take something special for him to end up scoring from there. But we're going to need to be a little bit fearless here. Jurriën Timber goes into a challenge. And the ref's going to give him a yellow card. Of course he is. Of course he is. I'm not sure that's a yellow card challenge, that Jurriën Timber one. But fine. Everything that we do is a yellow card. Everything that we do is a yellow card right now. Bobby said, any other changes you'd make other than Martinelli? I don't think so. You know, Jorginho's on the bench. He's good for transitions, but I think Thomas Partey is better for the physicality. I know his physicality's not quite been there the way that I would want it to be, but he's still better than Jorginho at that part of the game, right? Yeah, I don't even know how we get Martinelli on here because we need the height of Kai Havertz in order to flick the ball on for Saka or Martinelli. I don't know if... I really don't know. Shane said the only subs I want to see is to the channel. Yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, man. Them. United 893 says I predicted 2-1 Nick, but Arsenal need to stop playing the fight. I did the same, bro. At halftime, the whole halftime chat I was doing. Yeah, Nathan was here. He can tell you the whole halftime chat was about game management. Let's manage the game. We picked up the yellow cards, the Partey one at least, was late into the first half, and we didn't need to be picking up yellow cards. Like, it's stupid. That's not what we need. I said, let's go into the second half and let's manage the game properly. Let's ease our way into the game. Let's score the goal in the middle. Let's ease our way out of the game. But instead, we've gone and done something stupid, and then that's what it is. This is where we're at. Game management's been poor. So if we have opportunities, showing Raheem Sterling on the bench, well, not on the bench, but in the stands again. And now Brighton are making subs. So Van Hecker coming off. Van Hecker, who was the one that was involved in that situation with, I think it was him. Or was that Joel Veltman coming off? Yeah, it's Veltman. Veltman and Minter coming off. And the Stupinan and Rutter coming on. "20 minutes left, boys. 72 minutes gone. We're in survival mode. We are in survival mode. Come on. And Brighton have a cross. Oh, I think it was Danny Welbeck that got there first. But it went straight over. You got right under it. Yeah, snaps me a late one. Yeah, here comes Martinelli now. Ødegaard for Martinelli. As I said, it is Ødegaard coming off. He's played well today, Martinelli. And Ødegaard, he's played well. And it's Saka taking the armband, which will get the fans gassed. Love seeing Saka with the captain's armband. I love Ødegaard being the regular captain, and Martinelli, you know what he's going to want. Martinelli's just going to want goals, bro. That's all he wants. Put the ball in behind, over that defensive line. Stinker and hooked. Man said stinker and hooked. For who? Come on, bro. Be sensible, bro. This ain't Twitter, man. This is real life, man. Be sensible. Ødegaard definitely didn't have a stinker. It's just obviously it's a tactical situation because of the red card. Why do all refs look like they were neeks at school? Like, why is that? English refs, anyway. Raya goes long. Last 15, 20 minutes. That's not a great kick from Raya. Doesn't go far enough. Brighton get onto it first and set up an attack. But Arsenal have cleared. Havertz in behind. He's battling. Havertz. Oh, Saka. Saka's still on it. Saka probably could have gone on. Havertz trips over the ball. That was almost very, very, very good. Almost. Saka could have possibly gone down for a penalty there. Havertz gets into the box, gets a pretty tame shot away. Saka, nah, he probably couldn't have gone down for a penalty there, to be fair. Ødegaard missed an easy pass for Cali, and he was clean, but he missed. Yeah, I think Ødegaard made two mistakes. You know, there's the corner that came in from Trossard he wasn't great with, and then that pass he should have got to Calafiori. But those two things, I wouldn't say stinker and hooked. He didn't drop a stinker. I wouldn't say that. I hear you though, but I think stinker's like it's got to be worse than that, surely. Arsenal not giving up, still battling, still creating chances. Here's Rutter up against Calafiori. It's just shots galore, bro. Everyone's just going to fucking shoot from everywhere. There's no rules in this game right now. Havertz, poor touch, drops down. Brighton tried to switch the play. Martinelli's a little bit better for defensive support than Trossard as well. He's got the legs to make up ground very quickly. They're going to go for a strike. They do. Oh, no. Could it be? What a save. What a save from David Raya. They've gone for a shot. David Rice dived for the shot, but then that shot is deflected. And then the Brighton attacker pretty much has an open goal to go for. And David Raya manages to get up and make a double save. That's his second game in the week of making an unbelievable double save. What a goalkeeper he is. There's possibly man of the match last week. And I tell you what, if we can get a draw, let alone a win, he could be looking at another man of the match performance. Even though he's conceded a goal, he could be looking at another man of the match performance again. Martinelli picks up the ball now. Nothing silly, please. Partey goes long to Havertz. Saka's trying to arrive. Saka across the box. Saka! Just couldn't quite get the power on it. Could not quite get the power on it from the cross from Havertz. It was a good cross. Was it Havertz or Martinelli that's played that ball? I think it was Havertz. It is Kai Havertz. Plays the ball across the box with his right foot. Saka's just stretching for it. Keeper makes a relatively easy save. It's Van Hecker that took the shot. And then number 26, I think that's Rutter, has pretty much an open goal to go for. David Raya is lying on the floor and manages to get himself up and make a block with his legs. That is what is going on. I think Saka should have done a bit better there, to be fair. I do think he should have. However, and now Jurian Timber's down, getting some treatment. For fuck's sake. Mikel Arteta's going to be pulling his hair out. Hopefully it's nothing serious, because we know the injury problems that Timber had last year. Timber's been good so far. Really, really don't want to see him out. And this is not really the kind of game I want Zinchenko coming on either, to be honest with you. Yeah, it looks like Zinchenko's going to come on, and that's going to be the end of the game for Timber. Hopefully it's nothing serious. He's up and walking around, so I'm not sure if he's going to go off or not. It's a bit of confusion about whether or not he's going to be subbed. I think he's going to stay on, or they're sending him off the other side of the pitch. So Arsenal will be temporarily down to 10 players while Brighton try to come and attack. And now Mikel Arteta is now going to whistle, going to flag for a substitution and just get Zinchenko on. It's all a bit of confusion here. Yeah, now it's confirmed. Timber will come off officially. Zinchenko will come on. Untitled says, Zinchenko, lol, Arsenal need to do something fast. Nah, facts. That is big facts, because, yeah, Zinchenko is not, like I said, that is not really what man wants to be seeing right now, to be fair. He's on a throw-in now, doing Zinchenko things. Back to David Raya. Martinelli misses the header, and that's why we need Havertz up there, because Saka and Martinelli in the air just not as effective from a physical perspective, from a jumping perspective. They're just from height perspective. You know, we need Kai Havertz up there if possible. I'm very impressed, I have to say, so far. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm impressed with the way that we've responded to this so far. "81 minutes in, 9 minutes of regular time, plus added time to go. We've not just camped, we've tried to go and get on the attack, but Mitoma could be in here. Ben White makes a great tackle. Great tackle from Ben White for a corner. Mitoma is rapid. Another corner for Brighton. They can definitely smell blood, Brighton. They can 100% know that we're under pressure. A lot of pressure here. We cannot be taking losses this early in the season. And 2 Brighton players have just had a head clash. Both going for the same ball. Van Hecker and Rutter, it looks like. And they're up and okay. Come on, please, Arsenal, please. Yeah, I think we have. I think we have done well with 10 people so far. I don't want to jinx it. Like I said, they've got talent, right? The concern, what they're doing is really good, actually. They're using Pedro and Mitoma to push the defensive line back, and then they've got people waiting on the edge of the box that just want to have shots. Annoyingly, when I've seen replays of the goal, I actually think the goal that they scored is that much to do with Declan Rice being missing, to be honest with you. It was just we've switched off. I think it's more to do with the mentality of our team responding to the red card rather than the red card itself from a positional perspective. Thomas Partey does well to win himself a free kick there. The thing with these two teams, like I said, they're both going to fight to the end. We've seen they both get late winners. They've got a late winner last week against Manchester United. We've got ourselves lots of late winners in the last couple of seasons when fighting for titles. So this will be an entertaining finish to the game because neither team will let up. They will stay putting pressure on each other all the way to the last possible minute. But to go from, I think, 48 minutes up to 83, 84 minutes now with 10 men and not concede against a team like Brighton, it is good. We just need one moment. Saka just tried to get it through to Havertz there, a little bit overcooked. We just need one little moment and that's it. And who could it be? It's so difficult. They're not giving us much of the ball at all. They're being quite conservative with the ball. Long ball over to Mitoma. What a cross that is. Now here comes Adingra and Enciso, which is a real worry for me as an Arsenal fan because these two are brilliant. Adingra obviously got the I think he got the assist to the João Pedro goal, and Enciso is a shooter. He will want to shoot from the edge of the box, and he's got some good feet as well. It's Mitoma that's going off, which is you're bringing on very different styles of players, but both very dangerous players. And Danny Welbeck that goes off, that's a goal threat for them that goes off in terms of set pieces and winning headers. But then Enciso comes on, who's a different type of goal threat. So I did think it's a lot of changes, isn't it? Nathan makes a good point. 5 subs. It's a lot of changes. They made a change in the first half as well. James Milner, feels like forever ago they made that change, and they're still making subs. None of them concussion subs or anything like that. It is a lot of changes that you're up against, especially when you're down to 10 men. You're up against, you're going to play against 16 players. Partey, just get rid of this ball now. Partey does that. Nice and sensible. it's difficult. We want Havertz to drop in, but we also kind of want him up there for the set pieces or for the long kicks. So he's got to do kind of two people's jobs here. Adingra, his first run at Ben White. Cross comes away. Thomas Partey again stepped up quite a lot since the red card. Bear in mind, he's also on a yellow card, and he is someone that is known to make silly mistakes as well. He's been quite good, quite solid, quite conservative since. So let's see what happens. I'm really surprised at how much we've created with so little of the ball in this second half. We've had like 19% of the ball in the last 5 minutes. Good tackle from Saka on Adingra. He's all alone though. Can he go? He's literally just on his own. He gets past 2 players but can't get past the third, the fourth, and the fifth. He needs some more support there. He needs more support. I don't know what the instructions are, whether the instructions are to go for a goal or to keep it simple. And Ciso on the edge of the box, trying to weigh up opportunities to shoot, as I knew that he would. And Brighton have a shot that goes over the bar. They tried a very similar thing they tried against Manchester United, right? Like, flicked ball over the top to the back post. It worked for them last week. They're going to try it again. And for us, I think, like I said before, we just need to get the ball anyhow. Any way we can get the ball in behind and have Saka or Martinelli running onto it. That's going to be crucial. We've only had it once or twice. We arguably should have been up by more than 1 goal. You know, that would have given us a cushion, but we are where we are now. Havertz misses the header completely. Calafiori wins the second header, but only as far as a Brighton player. Partey, good legs to get across and make that tackle. Tries to release Saka, but can't. Another strike from Brighton from distance, and a third strike from Brighton from distance, and it goes over. Oh, they had a player out wide that they weren't using. He was waiting there. Gabriel's taking the strike straight to the chest, so he's down. Just getting a bit of love. Yeah, he took that ball straight into the chest. And if I haven't said already, then I'll just say now, the ref's an absolute disgrace for that red card. I'm just going to say that in case I forget. "89 minutes in, we're coming towards the end. Who knows how long? I mean, the added time on this is going to be so dramatic. It's going to be a lot. We've had a couple of injuries, lots of subs. We've had the goal. We've had the red card. We're probably going to see like 5 minutes of added time. Brighton definitely want to win this. You know, there's a big opportunity for them to come to Arsenal and get 3 points. An in-form, good Arsenal team as well. Havertz misses the header again. But Arsenal managed to regain possession of the ball. It's gone long. Can Martinelli get there? Martinelli does get a flick on. He feels that he's been pushed in the back and he's down injured or in a crumpled up state, but the ref's just not interested. Six minutes of added time. And Ciso, ball over the top to the back post, as I predicted. David Raya gathers. That's what they love. They love that ball over the top towards the back post. That's what Brighton like. I don't want us to lose this game, but I really do feel and I really do believe that we can win this game. We actually don't have to just grind out a point. I think it's you know, there's an opportunity to win this game now. Havertz battling for the ball. He's missed 2 or 3 big opportunities to win headers. Havertz, good strength from Calafiori. Good play from Calafiori there. Zinchenko tries to find Martinelli over the top, just too far. Saka again wrestled to the floor and just not getting any of the calls from the referee at the moment. Arsenal are getting no calls from this ref. Brighton weighing up shots. David Raya comes out, gathers really, really well. Gathers really well. Big, strong hand of the ball there. Nathan says, take a point and be happy. It's difficult. You're right. Would we take a point at this stage? 100%. I'm not going to say we wouldn't. That's just not realistic. But what I would say is there are opportunities for us to win this game. We have to be attacking enough. Otherwise, we're going to allow too many of their players to come and attack us. Free kick to Brighton again. Poor free kick to give away. João Pedro on the edge. Goes out for a corner. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This was the concern about how they played and got the late winner against United last week. And Cisse with the corner. Remember, no Jurriën Timber now. David Raya goes for the punch. Saka comes away with it, and the pass is overhit to Martinelli. Goes back to the goalkeeper. And Cisse again. Crossed again. And that time it was Brighton that got there first. Calafiori was beaten to it by Rutter. Gabriel just cleaned up for the corner. Rutter just picked up a little space just in between Calafiori and Zinchenko. Stupinan smashes the ball over. João Pedro is not happy, understandably. João Pedro has been given man of the match. Yeah, I back that. Jaden Wagwan, what's good, Jaden? How am I? I'm stressed, bro. I'm stressed. It's 1-0, 2 minutes of added time left. Well, 1-1, sorry. I'm getting the score wrong. That's how stressed I am. Do Arsenal have yellow card for David Raya? Yellow card again, for just yellow cards everywhere for it. This ref's a fucking joker. He's not serious. He is not serious. Time wasting at home, 1-1. What is Raya doing? We're down to 10 men, isn't it? It's affecting the whole mentality of the team right now. It's affecting everything. Not even 2 minutes left now. Ben White taking the throw. Saka's up there. Good challenge. Calafiori with a tackle. And Brighton get the free kick again. One minute left now. Brighton feel that they can go and get the winner. Thomas Partey just gives away a foul. Again, Thomas Partey is on a yellow card. The ref's given a yellow card, but I don't think it's to Partey. Who's that to? Who is that to? Yeah, the yellow card's gone to João Pedro for complaining. Finally, Brighton. I think that's Brighton's first yellow card. Ridiculous. Possibly Brighton's last attack now. Stupinan standing over it with the CISO. Stupinan sends it in. Can we get rid? We get the ball nice and clear. They're calling for VAR for a potential handball. This is just absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And that's it. That's time. The rest blowing the whistle. 1-1. Arsenal. Brighton. A very, very winnable game for Arsenal. A ridiculous refereeing display, in my opinion. It is ridiculous for what Rice done to go and get that yellow card, but the way the ref has refereed this game is childish, in my opinion. Only one yellow card to anyone from Brighton for that last, argument from João Pedro, but really poor. We now, going into Tottenham, don't have Declan Rice, don't have Marino. It's going to have to be Partey and Jorginho, which is not really the midfield that we want to see. But listen, big credit to Brighton. Big credit to Brighton. They're super well organised. Mitoma and João Pedro are causing us lots and lots of problems. But big credit to Arsenal, because I have to say, having gone down to 10 men and played pretty much the entire second half with just 10 men, I'm really surprised that 58 minutes in they scored. Just 10 minutes after that, the red card to Declan Rice, they scored. And you think you've got 40 minutes to get through without letting them score again. And, we didn't concede again for 40 minutes to 10 men against a really well-organised team. So, like I said, this is the same team that done Man United at home at their ground late on. And that was when Man United had 11 men. So, you listen, we take that and move on. It's the first kind of waiver of the league. Very, very frustrating. Nathan's just asked if I'm going to be streaming most of the games. Yeah, Nathan, we're streaming. Shane's going to be here tomorrow. We're streaming the Manchester United versus Liverpool game. So please do, everybody, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be streaming lots of football. Any Arsenal game I'm not on AFTV for, or I'm not at the game myself, I'll be streaming here for sure. I don't know if he can fight the suspension or not. It also depends on the turnaround time. I find it unlikely, to be honest with you. But listen, we'll see what happens. Next game we'll have no Declan Rice, but we will have a Raheem Sterling. I'm very, very frustrated with that game. Brighton now top of the table, with Arsenal in second. But listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. We take this and move on. And hopefully Declan Rice learns from this, because the mentality of the team outside of that stupid moment was very, very good. And you have to say, we don't know what would have happened for sure, but looking at the way the game went and looking at the way the game was going, you'd have to think that we go on to win that game if he doesn't get the if he doesn't get that red card. In terms of the boxing videos, Nathan's asking what happens to the long boxing videos. We don't do the long videos anymore. We might go back to doing them, but at the moment we're just dropping short form videos because them just are not going to sit there for an hour video, basically, for the most part. So if you sub to the channel, you'll see we talk about each individual topic, and I think that works a little bit more effectively for the channel, because obviously we just hit 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to grow the channel. So, do you know what I mean? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, be here for all that good stuff. But for now, I am very frustrated. I need to go and hit the gym and throw some weights around and get this frustration out of the way, because what I've just seen in the last 24 hours with the end of the transfer window, plus the way that game's just gone, is extremely frustrating, very, very emotional. I think the ref is a dickhead. I'm not going to lie. I think he's bottled it. There were plenty of opportunities. Like I said, that second yellow card could have been a red card for João Pedro, because in the first half, João Pedro kicked the ball away when we had a throw on, and he didn't give a yellow card for that, but instead he chose to give a yellow card for Declan Rice doing something very similar. So very, very frustrating day, very, very frustrating afternoon. But listen, still unbeaten. We moved. Do you know what I mean? Brighton's still a very, very good team. We just move on to Tottenham. Do you know what I mean? And take it one game at a time. So listen, that's all I've got time for you for right now. Nick J. Francis channel. The kick on Declan Rice, for sure. If they want to say it's not a foul on Declan Rice because he kicked the ball away, fine. But they've both got to face some type of repercussions. Do you know what I mean? How that ends up being a second yellow with a red card is crazy to me. But listen, man, it is what it is. I'm going to end the stream, guys. Lots of love. Thanks for tuning in, for everyone that tuned in. Like the video on the way out. Subscribe to the channel for more. And we out. Peace.